This morning, when I pulled myself out of bed for my usual tea and comics, I had no idea what was waiting for me in that stack. This eye-catching beauty of a book right here, The Death of Doctor Strange, Issue 1. I cannot help myself when it comes to first issues. Anytime I get a bundle of comics in with issue 1s in the stack, I am reading them first. No baggage, no expectations, all possibilities. You don't have to look up what you've missed or spend forever backtracking to understand who or why a character is doing what they're doing. You haven't missed anything yet. It's issue 1. So with hot tea and possible last days of Doctor Strange, I cracked the spine and dove right in. Chapter 1, The Strange Day. And we find Stephen dead, asleep after a long night of occulting. Tarot cards on the floor, record players still spinning, gargoyle statue in the corner. Reminds me of high school. Much like myself, Stephen Strange wakes up in the middle of a thought. His body might have been resting, but his mind was running the entire time. He's thinking about Koschei the Immortal, a Slavic legend of a man who removed his soul for eternal life. At first, I thought it was going to be Wong calling out to him, but no, it's Bats, Doctor Strange's ghost of a basset hound, waking the sorcerer for his morning walkies. No, not the dog's walkies, Strange's, because he's not as young as he once was. Downstairs, Wong offers him breakfast and brings up a very interesting point, that back in the day, Strange spoke with a much more dramatic flair like you would expect from the master of mystical arts to sound, much like an old wizard. But as the years rolled on with his publication history, he slowly dropped that. So for old time's sake, he bids his friend adieu with a boisterous zounds. On Stephen's walk with Bats, another beloved Marvel pet is brought up. Lucky the pizza dog, Kate Bishop's dog, who I can only hope will be in the upcoming Hawkeye show. And that brings us to the channel's first top 5, Seagon's top 5 Marvel pets. Number 5, Carol Danvers' pet cat Chewy, who they renamed Goose for the movie, which is weird to me since they own the rights to the name. Number 4, Lucky the previously mentioned pizza pup. Bats floats in at number 3. Lockjaw the inhuman companion is number 2. And for me, the first pet I think of when I think of Marvel Comics is Lockheed, the space dragon familiar of Kitty Pryde. I'm going to throw out a dishonorable mention here to Dogpool, who was disqualified on grounds of being an alternate dimensional Wade Wilson, not a true pet, but also for the chimichanga-sized turd he just left on my carpet. I'm not cleaning that up. Back to the book, Strange continues to think about Koschei and how that myth had led him to become a doctor, the compulsion to save lives and to cheat death. It looks like his hands have healed, and he is back to practicing medicine, but he reminds us that he has never stopped being a doctor. Somewhere in the city, a poor fellow is bursting with energy and power that they cannot contain. Strange talks the police down from shooting him and starts to treat this new patient of his. Mr. Rasputin is a longtime throwaway villain of Doctor Strange and the other mystic heroes. But Strange can see that he is in distress and addresses him more on a personal level as Mr. Plotnik. And Plotnik struggles to tell him that he just wanted to be taken more seriously. He wanted more power, and he has somehow connected himself to the plane of Cinnabus. All that Plotnik can hear are the screams of 1,000 dying voices, so Strange performs a mystical surgery and severs the connection, which seems to have done the trick, but there's no time to investigate further. He is needed elsewhere, at the Strange Academy in New Orleans. Here he teaches the students about the role of the Sorcerer Supreme, how it's not just some self-proclaimed title, but an actual position with powers appointed to him by the Vishanti. He tells us how he maintains a set of magical barriers and spells and so on that he must maintain at all times in addition to everything else that he does. And how he will not be the last, that one day the Vishanti will call for a new champion, or that Strange may die, and a new Sorcerer Supreme will have to be chosen, and it could be one of them there in that room. After class, Doyle, the son of Dormammu, tries to warn Strange that something weird is happening in the other dimensions, that he cannot feel or sense his home dimension, and that that's not normal. He can tell something is wrong, but he is not the first to bring something like that up to Stephen that day. Furthermore, he is called away again before he can take action on that matter. He is called away to help a character known as Magique, Ileana Rasputin, current Sorcerer Supreme of the Limbo Dimension, and sister to Pietro Rasputin, Colossus of the X-Men. She needs aid driving back a band of demons that have spilled out of her realm. Throughout the rest of his day, we see Strange battle hordes of beasts, mystic foe after another, never wavering, pausing only to eat a sandwich between jobs. His responsibilities never end. He has accomplished more in his time than any other being living or dead. We see that he keeps looking back to a photo of someone that I can only assume is Clea, a very powerful and storied character who's also Strange's estranged Mrs. Clea Strange. She hosts a very powerful and prominent position in the Dark Dimension, which keeps her there and is ultimately what's kind of led them to not be able to be together. And while looking at her, he mentions that Cochet was successful in cheating death at the expense of his soul, and how that's not really living at all. A man without a soul can't really say that he's living at all. And while enjoying his Esmond Salt's and tentacle bath, he is interrupted by a knock at the door. With no one else there to get it, Strange musters up the energy because Doctor Strange may never appear tired. He may never appear disheveled. He must have control at all times. That's part of the persona. And Strange seems to recognize whoever is at the door, but we can't make out who it is. We just see this amazing magical blast, a magic that seems familiar to the Sorcerer Supreme, a power that is somehow stronger than his own, a power that shouldn't exist in his mind. I want to note that even though he is glad his friends are not in harm's way, he still wishes they were there with him. That after everything he has been through and overcome, all of the dimensions and planes and worlds that he has seen, he just didn't want to die alone. Chapter 2, The Lonely Death of Dr. Stephen Strange. When Strange falls, everyone notices. It's a sudden feeling, a shift in the balances. Other protectors of the Earth stand by as Strange's protection spells come crashing down. Dimensional breaches are imminent. Wong, Zelma, Brother Voodoo, or Dr. Voodoo as he's now known, either way it's Jericho Drum, a really rad character akin to DC's Papa Midnight from the Hellblazer series, which is where Constantine comes from, for any film-only fans out there that might just know the Keanu Reeves movie. But then we see the entrance of Baron Mordo, Strange's ultimate nemesis, who is pissed that someone has taken what he believed to be a right, an honor that was his, to be the one to kill Strange. Wong lets his emotions get the better of him, something that he can usually prevent, but not in this state, not this time. He is confronted by Caecilius, Mordu's chief henchman, but they realize that if Mordu is so upset that clearly he didn't do it. And just then, Stephen's Avengers card starts going off. I love that he's using it as a bookmark, by the way. The call is answered by Zelma Stanton, the librarian of the Sanctum Sanctorum, and she learns just how many breaches there are and how they're causing worldwide panic. Lost islands are raising from the sea, dimensions are invading the Gobi Desert. It's not looking great out there. Then, while they're all fussing and fighting amongst themselves and Bat starts howling, we get the conclusion of his thoughts on Cochet, the Deathless. How it was a trick that Stephen was never able to bring himself to perform. However, when he was younger, he did something close. And with a familiar zounds, we see the only person that Stephen trusts in the event of his passing, himself. And as you can tell from his outfit, a much younger Sorcerer Supreme. And that's where the book leaves us. But we do get a page outlining the upcoming books in this little event, and man, it looks like it's going to be great. This is an ongoing series, so I will do my best to cover these as we go along, because this one's really captured my attention, and I hope it captured yours as well. Let me know what you think about the passing of Strange. Or if you have any other story or character that you'd like to get my perspective or opinion on, let me know. Until next time, zounds!